Hi guys, it is time to get wibbly wobbly and timey wimey in the workshop. Stay tuned, it'll be fun. Good afternoon. Welcome to the workshop. I'm your host, Jaymz, otherwise known as the Paint Slinger. Today we'll be working on some old 1986 FASA Doctor Who miniatures. The funny thing is that they are made by Games Workshop, which is fantastic because I am a huge Games Workshop, Citadel Miniatures fan. I have tons of their stuff in my own personal collection. Now, the great part about these miniatures, is that they are 100% metal. They're called white metal, which is basically pewter is what they are, or white metal. They might contain some lead, but we're not gonna think about that. What I've done is I've gone ahead and I've super glued them to some bases so that I can put them onto my painting handles. And I got a real neat treat for us today when it comes to these two miniatures. The first miniature that we're going to be working on today, his name is Sergeant Benton. He is from, of course, he's from Doctor Who, but he is one of the sergeants from the unit brigade of Doctor Who. Unit is the Unified Intelligence, Task Force. United Intelligence Task Force. They were created during the Doctor's years of exile on Earth. Now, this is going to be a great palette cleanser for me because I have been working with reds and yellows on my own personal arming. So having this is just going to be working in a different palette, different colors than what I'm used to, or than what I have been doing, or at least what I have been doing for the last little while. With that being said, like I said, these are metal miniatures. I have already gone ahead and primed them. Like I said, I've super glued them to bases. They are a single cast. They are a single cast miniature. Metal. The detail is all right. Of course, between 1986 and now, advances in miniature sculpting and sculpting and making have come. They are light years in difference. So, if we take, for instance, Sergeant Benton, right here, you can see, it's not a bad sculpt. It's pretty decent. But if we compare it to, say, something of today, and I'm going to use a Space Marine from Warhammer 40,000, same company, Citadel Miniatures, you can see that the sculpt is a lot cleaner and a lot better over the last, 86 to 96 is 10, 2006 is 20, 2016 is 30, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 37 years. Over the last 37 years, give or take. You guys can check my math on that. Miniature sculpting and miniatures have just, skyrocketed in the amount of detail and in the amount of attention given to the miniatures. Now, back then, each of these miniatures, if it was a named character like Sergeant Benton, the actors had to sign off on the miniature, saying that the likeness was good enough. I could tell that that's me. That's the important part. As long as the BBC, the people who did Doctor Who, and the actors were happy with the sculpts, they got made. So starting with this guy right here, he's going to be pretty easy. I mean, he's military, so it's going to be a bunch of green, some black skin tones, and silver for the gun. Anyway, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start off with Castellan green, and that is going to be the basis for the entire miniature. And when we do the wash on this guy, we're going to move over to the other miniature, and we're going to start him today as well. We're probably not going to work on him as much. And as you can see, my palette here has been used for, it's almost time to change it. There we go. Now this one, I'm just gonna, take my glasses down. I don't need to be super neat about it yet. And basically we're just going to paint pretty much the entire character in Castellan green, because it's an army, kind of an army dress uniform, but I mean it's still army. So we're gonna paint him green. Again, we can be, we don't have to be the tidiest painters in the world at this juncture, because things will be cleaned up later on. One thing we can say about the army is they like their stuff to be matchy-matchy. It's all the same color. Now, I might take a few liberties, as it were, on different on colors. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. So with the metal miniatures, you really want to have a primer put on them. It really helps the paint adhere to your miniature. Because if it was just the base metal, we'd have a much harder time getting the paint down. Well, hard time getting it to stay down anyway. Well, the next miniature that I'm going to be doing, which is again still from the old FASA Doctor Who miniature series. Well, I'll talk about him when we get there. Like I said, everything is pretty much matchy for these guys. For at least the military, anyway. Other things are going to be a little different, obviously. And I'm just making sure that I got a nice, good, solid coat of green down. And I've, cut all the parts. As you can see, I have not. There are parts that I have missed. Okay, there we go. The base coat is finished. There we are. The next guy I'm kind of excited for. So we'll talk about him in a second. As soon as I give Benton his wash. Now, where is my wash brush? This one, I want to keep it in the greens, but I want to darken it up a little bit, so I'm going to use the Athonian Camo Shade wash. And if I don't like it, well, that's okay. I'll just wash it in something else. But I think I'm gonna like the way it's gonna hit. Ooh, and guess what? I do. Of course, what the wash does is it'll settle into the recesses, giving us a good look at the folds of the uniform. Also darken down the uniform a little bit. Give us those shades. Can't forget the beret. Go. I'll put him off to the side while that dries. And now we're going to talk about the other character that I have. And I don't know if you saw the shirt at the beginning of the show, but it's my Doctor Who wibbly wobbly timey wimey. And it's got a wibbly wobbly timey wimey Doctor Who, and it's got a picture of the TARDIS. It's actually a really nice shirt. Alright, so the other character that I have that I'm holding in my hands, which again is the white metal or pewter single cast miniature. He is a Time Lord. A Time Lord, not the Doctor, but he is a Time Lord. So I figure he is Gallifreyan at least. But he's kind of interesting looking as far as I'm concerned. Oh no. And that, my friends, is called modeler's hands. When you just seem to drop stuff for no reason. But no harm, no foul. There he is. Right now it's a little hard to pick out and see. But he looks like a band leader kind of thing, kind of person. He's got a mustache and hat, epaulets. But what really drew me to him was the fact that he's holding a little boom box, and that on a completely different note, that right there is one of the reasons metal is so difficult to work with. It chips a lot. So what we're going to do with this guy is going to see if we can take some of the flash off. Because he's supposed to have open arms. Oh, that's another thing. Metal miniatures actually required a lot of cleanup before they were ready to go. Hey, bud. I have Studio Cat here. Are you gonna come up? Come on. Well, one of the two. Come on. Good boy. Right here. You remember Toothless? Toothless, say hi. And that's my good boy right there. He likes to come up and see Dad every now and then. Check on me. Make sure I'm okay. Yeah. But Dad's got to work. So you get to stay back here in your basket while Dad does his work. So what we're going to do with this guy, we're actually going to give him a fresh coat of black. So we're going to take our Abaddon black, or Abaddon, since, you know, we are dealing with a British property. And we're just going to put some down a little bit. And we are going to give them an all-over paint of black. Yeah, so this guy right here, I basically get to choose whatever colors I wish. And paint this guy, which is great because it gives me a chance to just let my creativity go bananas. Okay, just do how I feel. Remember, use how I pretty much say every episode. These are your miniatures. Paint them however you wish. And I have been pretty much staying the course and painting the miniatures true to however they're represented in the game. Oh, gonna kind of do that with Sergeant Benton. Gonna, stick with true military colors. But this guy, all bets are off. I have my opportunity. Pretty much paint him whatever colors I desire. There we are. Leave him to dry. Clean out the brush. And put the black away for now. Now we're going to go back to Sergeant Benton, because he is, for the most part, as far as I can tell, he's dry. So we're going to switch. You're going to go up in the corner. You're going to come back. We're going to go back to the Castellan green. Now we're going to use a nice detail brush, and we're going to go in and do some details. So now it's time for everybody's favorite piece of equipment, oh my god, it's so much bigger glasses. These are so much better than my old ones. One, I can blind you people. Blind. But not really. I don't like to blind you. Two, I actually get to look over or under the lenses for what I need. bit of water. Ooh, he's so lit up because of the light on my forehead. All I'm going to do is just hit some of the highlights. Leaving the recesses helps show the folds of the clothing. Just great. Like I said, back then in the 80s, the sculpting of miniatures wasn't horrible. However, compared to today, they look a little rough. Oh, back then this is kind of the best the best you had. And also at the time, Citadel was pretty much top dog in the industry. A lot of different properties. Like since Citadel Miniatures to sculpt miniatures for them. You know, so if you go and you find that there are miniatures for one of your favorite properties, like Doctor Who, possibly even Aliens from, back in the day, you might find that they were sculpted by Games Workshop. Could not be surprised, or sculpted by Citadel Miniatures, which of course is Games Workshop. it'll be, interesting when I get to the skin and everything. You want to keep your paint want to keep the paint I guess wet enough so that it can be moved around easily on your miniature. There we are. I think we've done a pretty good job of bringing the uniform back up while leaving the shaded parts shaded. Now we get to go to highlights. Alright, that's the right one. Strachan Green is what they recommend on the Citadel Color app. For the highlights, well, we're going to take a dollop. Now this one we're going to be a lot more strategic in where we place it. Oh, okie dokie. Here we go. So this one, we want literally just kind of on the edges. Kind of on the tops. Of the folds. Especially the sharper folds. The edges of the clothes. Top of the belt. Kind of see where I'm going. Of course, the sharper the point that you can get on your brush, and the finer a line that you can achieve. You know, the better the outcome will be. Pardon me. One quick moment. All right, bud. Not yet. And I'm back. I told you it'd be quick. Apparently he was done being in here. The studio cats just haven't gotten used to the new expanded time of the show. So for him, he thinks that things should be done. We should be moving on to other parts of our day. But little does he know that we still have time together. So he's complaining. Because now he wants back in. Because he just realized that I haven't followed him. So now he's outside the door and he's trying to come back in. You think I should let him back in? I know I can't hear you or even see if you've typed anything because this is all pre-recorded and not live. But if he continues, I will go and let him back in, because I'm a nice fur dad like that. But you know, if he settles down and stays quiet, I don't really see any need. So let him back in. And I'm not hitting, or I'm not outlining him in highlights either. I'm just hitting certain parts. You know, certain parts that I think should be highlighted out. Like the edges of clothing, the edges of pockets. Some of the more crisp parts of the uniform. Well, he's at it again. You know, some days it does feel a lot like I'm just outlining a miniature, you know. There we go. And as the paint gets drier on your brush, the more feathered you can make the paint. You can, you know, it's almost like a dry brush or a very pinpointed dry brush. Instead of a harsh fold, you get more, you know, it's more of a feathered out kind of technique. There we go. Anyway, I kind of like it. Now it's up to you. You can do as much highlighting or as little highlighting. You can pinpoint it like I do, or you can actually do a dry brush, a very light dry brush, and catch most, if not all, of the folds. Well, that's not what I'm doing, because it's my miniature and I'm painting it how I want it. How you paint it, that's up to you. And since he's, you know, British Caucasian, I'm going to go with my handy dandy mixture for white boy skin. So, Bugsman Glow to start. I mean, sure, he'll be kind of tannish color when I'm done, but still Caucasian nonetheless. Now, I'm doing this before I go back and do his shirt and tie, because if I mess up, if I, you know, get stuff on the face, or get paint that I'm using for the face onto his shirt and tie, well, I can just go back and clean it up. It's not a huge issue. And if I get stuff in the hair, again, not a big deal, because we haven't dealt with the hair yet. I kind of like how they've, you know, oversized the head a little bit as compared to the rest of the body. which is allowing you to really see that sculpt and see the details of the actor's face. Which is nice. I like that. I mean, they don't do that now. They don't oversize the face so that you can see the person. Especially if you look at the Citadel miniatures for the Lord of the Rings. I mean, you can still tell that it's, Viggo Mortensen? I probably have that wrong. Aragorn, or, Sean Bean. Or anybody like that. So yeah, on these miniatures here, they seem to have just oversized the head just a little bit. Which again, not a bad thing. I don't know how many people figured that these would be, painted or what have you. But again, here we are. Painting things that I'm not sure if anybody ever expected to be painted. There we are. It's actually looking quite snappy. Really like that. Well, it looks like our time is up for today, but that's okay, because when we come back, we are going to continue with this fella, and then we're going to move on to the Time Lord. Probably what I'm, So, as I always like to say, and I'm sorry if that sounded like it was not sincere, but sincerely, stay safe. Please be safe. Most of all, paint safe. And we'll see you next time in the workshop.